Hello and welcome back to Starfish Point. This is my City Skylines 2 Let's Play series where I'm building the city of my dreams with an unlimited budget. And what you see in front of us is a snapshot of kind of what we've built over the last near enough 50 episodes so far, and it's looking pretty fantastic. We've got a lot of variety within our city, from bustling skyscrapers in downtown as you see, to nice luxury beaches with hotels and high value residents living alongside that area. And it's all coming along really nicely. I like the way that it's kind of all put together and kind of shaped over time. We've done a lot of trial and error, but this is what we are at the moment. So yeah, plenty of progress has been made. In the last episode we built a lovely old town village which is just outside of the main city, but this is just a kind of brief overview of what we kind of built so far, and I'll tell you very shortly what we're going to be building today. But as you can see, it looks pretty nice in my opinion. I think we've done pretty well on it, to be fair, and we certainly have tried quite hard, so I'm hoping that this is pretty good for a first series. But what's going to happen today? So in today's video, the plan will be, as you can see, we've got this kind of nice little river that goes through the city. Then we've got nothing kind of between that river and the mountain at the back, near where this road goes with the bridge over the waterfall under that nice kind of watered sort of area, autosave. So my plan is going to be to try and just establish some low density residential, some kind of nice looking higher value sort of neighbourhoods, just kind of the other side of that river. There'll be sort of our suburbs, our commuters into the city sort of area like that, and we've got plenty of space to do it, lots of space to utilise, so we'll see kind of what we end up with. We'll see how far we go. We might be able to fill all of this space, we might not have time to do all of it, but we will certainly give it a go. So that'll be the plan, and then it will kind of make the city look a little bit less narrow, because it does look narrow if you look at it from the top. So we're going to make a little start on that and see how we get on. And finally, just before we do that, we'll just recap the last video. So we started to build this little old town here. If we just zoom out a bit, this is where the old town is. So our main city is over there, and then the old town is down here. Which I think is quite a nice looking addition. I think it looks really good, especially from the top. It's got various features, so we've actually set up the ferry line here, which looks really cool. We've got a few people using it as well, and we've just added a few boats over there. We've got this river that's just kind of the main sort of entrance in, and then the train station, all that good stuff. I'll let you watch the video if you want to see it in more detail, but just have a look at this. It looks pretty cool. Yeah, it looks good. I love the way it looks. We've got loads of people walking across this bridge into kind of the kind of mayor's garden district, which looks really cool. But yeah, I think this kind of area as a whole just looks fantastic. I'm really happy with that. Really happy with it. I'm in two minds of whether to expand this side outwards. There's probably a bit of stuff that we could do around here, but for the time being it works. And if you actually zoom out and look at it in comparison with the rest of the city, it kind of just sits there quite nicely. It just kind of fits. So yeah, really happy with that. Let's start cracking on with our suburbs. So obviously we've got this area and then we've got this area. I think I'm going to start over here, which would probably make more sense. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to draw back some of this metro line just to the road. I'm not sure if I'm going to want it elevated going through. I might just have to chuck it underground at some point over here. I'm also going to pick up all of these trees that are down here, so that we've got a clear working area to essentially start building on, because we don't want all of these trees here. So we'll just pick them all up where we can, like that, without trying to cross over to the other side, because if we do that we'll just cause chaos. So we'll pick up all of these, all that, make it nice and clear. We'll probably end up picking up the road that you see this little truck going on as well. We'll reconsider how we have that. We might have to change the way that goes over the water or similar, but we will ironically cross that bridge when we get to it. But for the time being, we make a nice clear area, establish where we kind of want to be. And we just need to be careful picking up these trees because of all of the stones that we've got down here. So if we do that, we should be able to get the majority of these trees, hopefully. We get quite a few of them, to be fair. We're probably never going to get them all like that, but for the time being, that will probably do. And then we've got this nice sort of clear area here. That's quite nicely sloped onto here, so I'm debating whether we actually just keep that road and that bridge, because it actually doesn't look too bad at all. And maybe we just form what we want to form from here. That's probably a safe bet. I think that's probably a safe bet. Maybe we'll kind of hold on to this road for the minute. We might even have this as a really ridiculous roundabout with another junction coming out here. Or alternatively, we could add a separate junction around here somewhere. But we'll have a look. But first things first, I'm going to start by trying to plan the roads. I'm just starting with a basic kind of road layout that you kind of more of a US sort of suburb sort of vibe with your straight grid sort of roads. Nothing too crazy. I've just kind of sloped this initial road along the contour line so that we're not building on the side of the mountain, which would hopefully help us have a flatter surface, fingers crossed. But we're just going to try and just build out a simple sort of road layout, nothing crazy, nothing too wild, just to fit in some nice looking suburbs, hopefully. Yeah, we don't need anything too crazy. We just want to go from there, really. So I'm going to continue trying to grid out what I can to create some suburbs. It's never going to be the best sort of grid because of all of the weird curves and shapes that we've got going on here. But whatever we can do, we will do, and we'll hopefully make it look okay in the end. So I might just, yeah, there's various different things that we're going to try and do. But none of it is probably going to be perfect, just due to the nature of the roads that we're trying to create. But we'll keep on pushing through, see what kind of happens, and then go from there. So now that I've added in kind of a basic sort of road layout, I'm just going to try and add in a few services that would benefit our lovely people that lived here. The first one that we're going to try and slot into here is going to be this high school. This is the USA Southwest High School. As you can see, it's just your basic high school. There are lots of upgrades to it. I'm not entirely sure that I'm going to do any of these, just because me personally, I'm not a fan of these blue roofs. I think it actually looks a little bit better, more exposed. Looks a bit less overbearing, so I think we're going to have that there. We might look at seeing what the counterpart, the small US school, Southwest School would do, and we might just have that in a little slot somewhere around in this area. Potentially in one of these spots here would be pretty good, just on one of these corners. That fits pretty well in there if we just hook it up to the snap tool and have that one just live in there. I think that looks quite nice. I think that's a good little spot. We can upgrade it with the arts and music building. Do we want to do that? There's also these extra classrooms and extra this and that, but to be honest with you, I kind of like the smaller, more relaxed sort of look that we've got going for it. We might as well stick with the southwestern theme and see if we can fit in a couple of these service buildings as well, such as fire and the others. Mind blank. Fire and the others is what he says. Just trust him. That's annoying that doesn't quite fit in there, because that would have been quite a nice slot for it. But it fits perfectly just here, which gives us access to the key avenues and then onto the highway. So you can go up, you can go out and round or through. Yeah, I think that's a pretty fair spot to have it. It's quite a nice looking fire station. I'm not sure that we necessarily want a helipad though, given its location. So we'll have that down there. We'll see what kind of southwestern police station we can have. Nice basic size there. Let's see where you will fit in pretty snug. Oh, there we go. That's pretty snug, isn't it? Maybe just on that corner there. Right opposite the school. So anybody that's misbehaving at school, you're going to get it. Expanded holding cells. No, we'll just keep that as basic as well because I think it looks quite cool. Just like that. And then the only thing that we're kind of missing, like majorly, is a little hospital. Which, what can we? Well, we're certainly not putting that in there. But the small medical clinic like this is absolutely fine. And where do you want to go, Miss Medic Clinic? I mean, it would fit here pretty well. And we could kind of have everything all close together. Alternatively, we could have it here, or doesn't quite fit as flush over there. I reckon maybe here. The road is just slightly too curved. Maybe about here? On this road. Come on, snap to this road, bruh. Come on, bruh. Oh, it won't do it because it's a highway. That's probably why. No, that's fine. We'll probably put that there then. Nothing too crazy, just a small medical clinic. Nothing to see here, really. Put that there to fill in the gaps, and fantastic. They're kind of just the basic services that we need for the time being. We need to figure out what we're going to do with this geezer here, because he is going to cause a few problems for us, and I'm debating whether we hook it up alongside this road potentially, or we just try and drop it down somewhere and make it disappear. So I'm going to have a think about that and then go from there. So I think I'm going to upset quite a few people here, but as you can see, this geezer has a new little route to just go and follow around this road and drop off at this metro station just down here. That then feeds underground. As you can see, it ends there because we've not hooked it up, but I'm just having difficulties with kind of dropping it straight from here underground. So I thought, why not just have it run along the main avenue? It'll add a little bit more of uniqueness and a bit more activity to this sort of neighbourhood, and then from here it'll go underground and serve whatever we'll have over here. And this could potentially have another station here, and then maybe they can hook up with a line that's already up here. So for now, we'll leave this as that. It might not work out how we want it to work out, so we might end up changing it, but for the time being, we're going to keep that as that. Oh, I don't want to do that. The next thing is, as you can probably see, oh, why is that doing that? That's no good for anyone. That is no good for anybody. Why have you done that? Let's see what we can do to try and fix that, because that's not correct. I mean, that's better, isn't it? That gives it more like it's meant to be there, rather than what we currently have. Good, alright, that's fine. I wanted to add enough cycle lanes and stuff to go around, because as you can see, I've hooked up this cycle lane here. So it'd be nice just to be able to have a few cycle paths away from the kind of main roads, just kind of going around this neighbourhood, make it nice and easy for the bikes to get around. So that's what I'm going to start doing, just adding a few cycle paths hooking up to these roads, etc. Just going to bring them nice and simple across most of these places. That definitely does not work. Oh dear, cycle lanes, cycle lanes. So it looks a little bit chaotic at the minute, because as you can see, we've got loads of footpaths, loads of cycle paths, basically everywhere, going across all these various spots, hooking up. We've got the cycle path that goes alongside the main sort of highway road, which is good to see. We've hooked up these footpaths to the bridge, so that these people can cross to the supermarkets and stuff like that. This one seems to have connected, for bike lane standards, relatively okay. It seems like it actually connects up, because usually they just go a bit weird. So a bit bizarre. But yeah, we've we've done a few things. We've hooked up all of these, plenty of bikes parking everywhere so people have places to store their cycles, and all the pathways are somewhat connected. So all we need to do is we need to kind of like try and fill in the gaps now. I kind of want to have some small commercial buildings in this central bit here, and the rest of it is probably going to be low density residential. So I'm going to have a little look for small low density commercial buildings that will fit here, and do them first, and then we'll start filling out with the rest of the low density residential. So I'm just in the process of zoning in some southwestern buildings, as you can probably see. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to zone them in, and then I'm going to start decorating within them, or decorating, detailing. It doesn't look great at the moment, obviously, without any sort of detailing. So I'm just going to zone them all in and then detail around them, and then hopefully it will start to look a little bit nicer, a little bit better, more like an actual neighbourhood. Because for the time being, we've just got lots of work to zone in, and then hopefully, fingers crossed, once we've detailed in a decent amount of it, it should begin to look all right. Fingers crossed. We'll see. So yeah, that's the plan. Just zone in some of the houses so that people are moving in and they have homes to live, and then once we know where the homes are going to be, we can just fill in around them, because it just looks a little bit bare at the moment, doesn't it? So if we just do this basically everywhere, it gives us time to pick where we want these houses to be, like so. Some of them end up doubling up, but some of them don't, so it's not all doom and gloom. We just kind of get on with it and do what we can, and we'll just look at the end result when we have the end result. Like that, like that, like that. It's not going to let you watch me zone the whole time because there's lots of zoning to do, but you kind of get the idea of what's going on. So a lot of these homes are waiting to level up and become a lot nicer. As you can see, a lot of them are just basic level 1 homes. This one's level 3 now, but they're all starting to level up just a little bit more to make them a little bit nicer. We need to try and blend in all of these homes, just by kind of adding some trees here and there, just to make it look a little bit better. So we're just going to start off by placing a few of these trees here and there. Hopefully this will assist us in blending in these homes. Anarchy is off, so we're not going too crazy, but just with a few trees to kind of cover in the gaps will make a massive amount of difference to how it looks, really. Because as you can see, if you look at that, that looks far more nice. That's not even English. Much nicer than just bare open ground. So we're just gonna try and tree out as much as we can, just to make it look a little bit nicer. And then once we've done that, it should look quite nice, or at least better than it did. So that's the plan. We'll just tree through here, see what we kind of come up with. Hopefully it looks good. If there's a few bits we might need to change, add a few different buildings into it, all that good stuff. As you can see, all of the buildings are starting to level up, which is grand. We love to see that. But we're just going to go along every single gap that we can find and just fill it in like so. Most of it's good. All the bike passes are exposed. That's the benefits of not using Anarchy, is that it doesn't just go everywhere. It only goes in places where there's actually space for the trees to go in, which is good. And then just go over it once more just to make sure that most of it is covered where it can be. And if we see any kind of gaps, we just kind of aim for them and fill them in a bit, like so, like so. I think as a whole, that's looking a lot better now that we've got the trees. Yeah, I think that looks a little bit more, kind of fits in a bit more now that we've got that without the trees, or without the trees, with the trees. So let's just have a look then to see. Yeah, I mean, that kind of just blends in with the rest of it, to be honest with you. I think that's blended in pretty well. If we zoom in a little bit, I don't think that's too bad at all. It just kind of looks like your bog standard suburban neighbourhood, really. Nothing too crazy at all. All of the bike paths are still there and exposed, which is good. Businesses are just doing business things. I've upgraded all of the roads to bike lanes so that kind of to really encourage people to cycle instead of using cars, or even metro instead of cycle, whatever you prefer. But it does certainly look alright. It's not obviously not the best thing I've ever done. Oh my goodness, what's going on here then? Where are you lot going? So that's traffic light problems. So we'll probably get rid of those traffic lights. We don't really need them, but I assume this is just massive truck deliveries to level up our homes that we've got going on. But I don't think it looks too bad. Do we have anybody cycling? Obviously not, because why would they? Why would you cycle with all these cycling facilities? That just doesn't make sense. Oh! Yo, zoom! Oh, look, it's e-scooters. Don't like e-scooters. Where are you going then, son? That's not bad. He's going. Oh, there we go. Ooh, nearly gets wiped out by a lorry. Oh, look, they're all coming out now. Oh, no. Oh, gosh. Oh, my goodness. Our road death rate is probably going to be very high soon, given all those trucks. I think this looks quite good. I don't think that's a bad looking neighbourhood. Obviously, it's not, I wouldn't say rushed, but it's I've definitely built it quicker than I would normally build. But it just looks like a bog standard neighbourhood, and I think that actually just blends in that bit pretty well. It makes the city feel a lot more full up. We obviously just need to build some more on this side too, just to kind of keep the theme kind of going through. So I'm just going to go through and get rid of all of these traffic lights, because we don't need the traffic lights. Sound barrier, lighting, blah 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 blah, traffic lights. So we'll get rid of you. We don't need you. We don't need traffic lights there because they're just going to cycle across it anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Traffic lights probably here as well. We'll get rid of, and to be honest with you, we'll get rid of that. We'll just let people send it everywhere. I quite like... Oh, autosave. I quite like having these highway roads. I think they look really nice for rural sort of areas. Especially with the bike lane going past it as well. I think it looks really good. But I'm not entirely sure about all of these HGVs just going into these residential neighbourhoods. I know it's because they're levelling up the houses, but hopefully once they're all levelled up a bit, it will look a little bit more normal. But for the time being, it just looks a bit crazy, you know. So I decided to put down a single underground parking lot, and it seems that it's quite popular, as you can see. We've got several people that fancy using it. It's good that it's being used, however, I'm not sure that it's good that this amount of traffic is going to be clogging it up. So yeah, it is what it is though. It might be worth us placing another one down somewhere else, somewhere like maybe this corner right out the way, so people have to get out the way to do it. We'll have a little look to see if we can squeeze it in there, which we can't really at all, to be honest with you. All of them are rather large. Even all of these smaller ones are quite large as well. I think we don't want anything too huge because it doesn't really fit the theme. So there's not really much we can do other than let it be. Let everybody clog up here and be really inefficient, it seems. We'll try and figure out a plan of how to resolve this. We'll just get rid of these traffic lights to begin with, because that might help just a smidge. But yeah, as you can see, this is getting very, very busy very, very quickly, which is not ideal, to be honest with you. Not really ideal, but it is what it is. I'm thinking on whether I attempt to try and start this now, because, well, I mean, we probably could. We can give it a go. we can start trying to figure out a plan with this. Let's start that now then. Let's clear off all of these lovely trees that we don't need here. What other type of tree is there that's not getting picked up? Pine, pine, pine. Looks like we're not picking up the pines. So let's do that. That's spruce, that's pine. Why is it not coming up? Come up, boy. How strange. And to be honest, there's not really anything that matters too much that we care about and picking up. So we'll just be very careful and just start collecting all of these trees and clearing out this area ready for development, just to build up some more homes. Some low density homes is what we need, and we'll do it all the way down to here, and then obviously here as well. Careful of the rocks. Pick up all of these lovely bits here. I know I could make the brush bigger, but I just don't want to capture anything that I shouldn't capture. So we'll grab all of that, and that'll probably do. And then we need to pick up these here. There we go. And we've got a nice, clear, open space for us to work with. So first things first, I might actually upgrade. No, I can't really upgrade that road because it kind of just fits the theme, doesn't it? Maybe we'll have a larger road. I don't even know if we want a larger road. We kind of just want it to all be smaller sort of roads. So if we just start off bringing that out at a nice 90-degree angle. I wish you could select bike lanes off here instead of having to replace them, because it's kind of annoying that you've got to go over them all again. But let's just bring that all the way out, like so. And then we're going to bring that out here, because this road is where our subway is going to be. So we're going to do that all the way out to here. We're not going to have it in line with this, he says. I might change my mind. I'm not sure. Leave me alone. But for the time being, we're going to have some sort of grid that goes this way. So we'll pull that out just a little bit more to here, and then we'll start planning out how we want our grid to kind of go from here. So we'll just put a few roads out. I think ending there is probably fair. Link that up and try and hook this one up. That's not quite right, is it? There we go. That looks a little bit better. And then we probably will have that curve round, but for the time being we're going to make this nice and simple, like so. And then that one can go into there. And we'll try and figure out a nice little curved road for some houses along the edge. Like that. Like that. We might pull that one back. Continue this road along the coast, like so. And this will be our kind of like Riverside road. And we could actually hook it up to here somewhere, couldn't we? So if we get a nice angle here, we should, hopefully, if we do this correctly, be able to link that up to that road up here. Let's just try and pick up. We've gone too far? Come on. Come on. Maybe it doesn't want to play. I mean, it hooks up there. Ah, that looks good enough for me. I mean, it hooks up. It doesn't look the greatest thing I've ever seen in my entire life, to be honest with you, but I think we'll maybe rejig that a little bit. So the first thing that I want to do here is just place down a couple of subway stations. So just some small standard underground ones, probably one about here and one about... We'll have it right on the corner, I reckon. Like that. And I'm led to believe that there is a subway track that goes underneath here. Which, okay. Where do you go to? Oh, you go to there. So if we actually collect this subway track and have it go round and link up to this station. Why is that doing that? That's not good. Why don't you like that? We just want to try and make that connect without going weird. We can get it under there and then we just hook it up to that and that should not be exposed. No, that's good. Fantastic. And then that one, nice and simple connection to here. And then that will just hook up. Did I just put a road instead of a... Sorry. That fit quite smoothly though, to be honest with you. That's quite a smooth little parallel road there. We want to hook that one up to here, obviously, like that. And then this one can just join into here, there, which is good. So then that subway line is now connected. We just need to move some stops. In relation to this line that we've got, what are you? You're the red line. You're not the port line. You must be the upper transfer here. Okay. That doesn't look... Yeah, cool. No, that's good. All right, let's go ahead and grab our subway stop. I'm actually going to drag that. We're going to drag that to here. Doesn't matter which side we go to. So I want to do that to there. But then we also want to drag that. So I'm not sure if that's got rid of that stop now here. I think it probably has. So we want this. Yeah, cool. Right, that's good. And then for it coming back, we want it to hook up to here, but it's just a little bit fiddly. There we go. All right, that's good. And then in relation to this line, we want to drag you over to either or of these. So probably that will be fine. And then we want to drag that over to here. We want it the other side if it works. There we go. And then on the way back, we want you to stop here. On the way up, we want you to stop here. And obviously on the way back, or on the way up, we want you to stop there. On the way back, we want you to stop here. That should be alright, I reckon. Is that stopping in on the way back as well? Yeah, cool. So that subway is now hooked up to this area, obviously pending the establishment of our water and our power, which we'll do while we can remember. What's going on here then? I'm confused about that, to be honest. I don't know why that's being bizarre. And then we'll hook that up with a double wobble to there, and hopefully we should have life. Good. Alright, that's a good start. Good. Right, next up, I want to add maybe a park or something similar around this sort of neighbourhood. I think that this new circular park would fit quite cool right on the edge here. It's just a little bit unique. It's nothing special. But it's just going to be nice to have it there. It doesn't really do much. It's just kind of some trees in a circle, and I'm not really sure what the purpose is, but nevertheless, I think it looks alright. I think that's a cool little thing to have. Let's look at the other parks that we could potentially put in and around this sort of area. Pavilion restaurant looks alright. What about any sports? maybe something sporty, something like a football pitch or soccer, whatever you want to call it, wherever you're from in the world. Nice soccer pitch in the middle there would be quite nice. Maybe a sports complex. If we could fit that maybe on the other side of the road, would be quite cool. Potentially a sports complex by just by here. I think that would be an interesting design, so you can play your sports right by the river and backing onto the mountains. Let's actually just establish a nice road first before we do that. So let's bring that up and across so that we kind of get an idea of how straight we can have it. Alright, so if we bring that down slightly, like so, get rid of this and try and whack that in there just like that, and I think that'll probably fit a lot better than before. Good. Right, I'm just going to finish off the roads here and then we'll kind of start thinking about what we're going to do. Okay, so as you can see, we've done a few more adjustments. So we've got these kind of dual lanes now, so we've gone bike and pedestrian path all as one. All of the roads are cycle friendly. We've got a few things such as schools, parking, parks, more schools, fire station, police, medical, and a few unique buildings as well, just along the kind of entrance way from this section here. So that's kind of the basic stuff, bit of parking there as well. That's the basic road layout with the subway stations and bicycle parking. The weird looking park at the end, which I'm still again not too sure about, but it will do. And then the next kind of step is just to fill it in. We need to actually, before we do that, we need to connect these across in certain places. Otherwise they're not going to be very much use to anybody, are they? So we'll see if we can just hook these up without the game breaking. There we go, that's good. We'll have one here, will be fine. Yeah, we'll just put one there. Maybe one a little bit further up here. We actually need to connect these up to the roads as well, otherwise that's not going to be much use to anybody, is it? Maybe hook that one down there. A little entrance to here, and then bring that across. Is that working? Yeah, cool. Yeah, nothing too crazy or complex, but we just want to make sure that these are connected up, otherwise they're not going to be much use to anybody. And oh gosh, come on. Yeah, hook those up somehow here and there, and then once we've created these connections, we'll simply just start putting some houses in again like we've been doing for the rest of it, just to kind of make it look a little bit nicer. I don't know why there's a massive hole in the ground there, but that's something to do with the cycle lanes. I'm just going to leave that one blank. But yeah, it's alright, it's not too bad. It's actually probably similar or maybe bigger than the other one, but you kind of get the gist. We're going to start by placing a few buildings down, and then we'll go from there and see how it looks afterwards. So we've placed down the buildings, now we just need to fill in the gaps with trees, and hopefully that will look quite good. So I'll fill in the trees and then show you the end results. Trees planted, and it looks so much better already. It's crazy how much of a difference trees actually make to the build. It definitely looks far better with the trees. I really like all of these little cycle and walkways. Although they're not really being used much at the moment, I think they're still quite cool. There are a few certain features that are nice. This park is cool. I don't really understand it still. Is it just somewhere that you'd kind of walk in and just sit down here for a picnic? I don't really know. But nevertheless, looks alright. Yeah, I think that looks pretty cool. Should we get a cinematic? I think so. Just before we dive into the cinematic, this is the aerial view, and the city definitely looks a lot larger now, doesn't it? It kind of seems like a proper city here, instead of just this strip of density here. We've got all of this low dense stuff as well, which I think is really good to have. Definitely gives a lot more size and a lot more like people are actually living here. So yeah, all good. And we're so close to 100k people as well. 199,000. Pretty impressive, but it's starting to look like a proper city, which is pretty cool. Anyway, I promised a cinematic, so that's what we shall do. And here we have it, our cinematic for today's build. So just some standard suburban sort of low density housing, a few family homes in there for people to live in. In this particular section we've got the large high school with some elevated railway which comes in from the main city, which eventually slopes back underground as we go under the water and the river which leads to the waterfall. Plenty of bike lanes, it's very walk and cycle friendly, these neighbourhoods. Try to kind of make it sort of a bit greener, minus the big great elevated subway that's going over the top of it, but I think it looks quite good. And like I was saying a moment ago, the fact that we've got this now, it does make the city seem a lot bigger, more dense, like people actually living here, like just normal neighbourhoods. Especially here, it just looks like your standard neighbourhood where people are chilling and living, and they would commute to work, go to the shops that are on the main sort of drag over there. The nice sports centres, parks, schools, facilities for people to work and visit. So yeah, I think we've done pretty well, to be honest. I think it's all looking relatively good. But nevertheless, thanks very much for watching. Let me know what you want me to do next, and I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.